When I got my dream job, I thought I'd finally made them proud. After years of side hustles, rejection emails, and sleepless nights, I finally signed the offer letter, senior designer, $120,000 a year. So I booked a table for 8. My mom, dad, 2 brothers, their wives, and my little niece. I picked the same Italian place my parents used to take me after my childhood art exhibits, back when they still smiled at my drawings and told me I'd do something big one day. But that night, the candles flickered. The bread got cold. The waiter refilled my water 4 times before asking softly, "Will your party be joining you soon?" I kept checking my phone. One unread text from Mom. "Sorry honey, something came up. We'll celebrate later. Love you." That was it. No call. No congratulations. Just silence. I sat there, staring at the empty seats, watching other families toast birthdays and promotions. I told myself it was fine, that they were busy. But when I finally drove home alone, the truth sank in like a weight pressing on my chest. They didn't forget. They chose not to come. My name is Rachel Meyer. And from wherever you're watching this, stay with me. Because sometimes the people who raise you will be the first to bury your happiness. Tell me, have you ever been treated like a stranger in your own family? I wish that night was the end of it. But it was only the beginning. A week later, my mom Venmo'd me, not a "congrats," not a "proud of you," but a request. $3,400. Caption, "For your dad's retirement party." No message. No explanation. Just the bill. I stared at my phone, my pulse pounding. After everything, they didn't show up for me, and now they wanted me to fund their celebration. I sent her 1 penny. And a note that said, "Here's my contribution. Hope it buys some self-awareness." Then I blocked them all. That night, my phone stayed quiet. For the first time in years, so did I. But silence has a way of turning into thunder. Because the next morning, someone was pounding on my door. The pounding started just after sunrise. Hard, fast, official, the kind of knock that doesn't wait for an invitation. I froze mid-coffee, mug trembling in my hand. 3 more hits on the door. "Police. Open up." My stomach dropped. For a moment, I thought it was a mistake, wrong apartment, wrong person. But then I heard my name. "Rachel Meyer. We need to speak with you." I opened the door, hands shaking. 2 officers stood there, one older, calm, practiced, the other younger, eyes sharp, scanning. "Ms. Meyer," the older one said, "we received a report of financial misconduct. Your family alleges you committed fraud through a false transfer." "Excuse me." My voice came out smaller than I meant it to. He continued, flipping open a small notepad. "Your mother claims you owe $3,400. Says you sent a taunting message and refused to pay for a joint family expense that had your name on the contract. She said you embezzled the amount from your father's retirement account." I just stood there. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down on me. They'd gone to the police. For a Venmo request and a penny. I swallowed hard. That's not true. I never touched their accounts. She sent me a request, I declined. The younger officer looked up. "Can you show us proof?" I opened my Venmo history right there, my fingers trembling. The request glared up at me. Plus $3,400 request from Mom, for your dad's retirement party, red heart. Rachel sent 1 cent. Here's my contribution. Hope it buys some self-awareness. The older officer exhaled, a small, knowing sigh. All right, Ms. Meyer. You're not in trouble. We just had to verify. But maybe reach out to your family, clear things up. You'd be surprised how far grudges go these days. They left. And I stood there, barefoot on the hardwood, watching the light spill across my quiet apartment. The humiliation burned more than the fear. They didn't just skip my celebration. They weaponized it. That night, my phone lit up again, unknown number. Voicemail from Mom. You embarrassed this family, Rachel. You made me look like a fool. You can't just cut us off like that, we're blood. Her voice cracked near the end. For a moment, it almost sounded like guilt. But guilt doesn't come wrapped in manipulation. So I blocked that number too. But cutting off family isn't like cutting a cord. It's like tearing through vines, they always find new ways to creep back in. And by the next week, they did. Not with words. But with something darker, and public. Because the next thing I saw, was a Facebook post that made half our town turn against me. It started with a tag. I was in the middle of a design pitch when my phone buzzed. I shouldn't have checked, but I did. And there it was. A Facebook post. My mom's name glowing in bold letters above a paragraph that started with, "Please pray for our daughter, Rachel. She's been struggling mentally and financially. She took money from her father's retirement fund, and now we're just trying to help her get back on track." My chest went cold. Underneath, hundreds of comments, neighbors, old teachers, my dad's coworkers, all chiming in. "That's heartbreaking, I hope she gets help. She was always a bit off, wasn't she? Family always comes first. You're doing the right thing, Linda." Linda. My mom had signed it with a heart emoji. I could feel my pulse in my teeth. They'd painted me as unstable, a thief, a liability, a disappointment. All because I wouldn't fund a party they couldn't even invite me to. By the end of the day, my inbox was a storm. Friends asking if I was okay. My boss pulling me aside. "Rachel, we don't usually get involved in personal matters, but this is circulating. Maybe take a few days off." I nodded numbly, went home, and locked the door behind me. The apartment felt smaller now, suffocating. I scrolled through the comments again, trying to find one person, just one, who still believed me. There wasn't. I thought about replying. About posting screenshots, receipts, proof. But something in me froze. Because I realized, this wasn't about money. It was about control. They didn't just want to punish me, they wanted to rewrite me. That night, I deleted Facebook. But before I did, I took one screenshot of Mom's post and the comments underneath. I looked at it like it was a headstone. Then I whispered to myself, "All right, Mom. You want a story? I'll give you one." The next morning, I requested the official police report from that visit. I sent it to HR, to clear my name. Then I printed copies, for my lawyer. Because if they wanted a war over reputation, they were about to lose more than their Facebook likes. But before I could make my move, something happened that cut deeper than any lie. A message from my brother. "Don't make this worse, Rach. Dad's in the hospital. Mom says it's because of you." And that's when the guilt came crashing in, heavy, suffocating, confusing. I didn't know what was real anymore. Only that they had taken everything, my peace, my job, my name. And yet, I was just getting started. I drove to St. Andrew's Hospital in silence. No radio. No calls. Just the hum of the tires and the storm in my head. My dad hadn't texted me in weeks. Not since I got the job. Not since the post. Not since Mom turned the world against me. When I reached his room, the hallway smelled like antiseptic and old guilt. Mom was sitting by his bed, all puffy eyes and perfect posture, the kind she uses when she wants to look like the victim. "Rachel," she said softly, like she'd rehearsed it. "You came." I didn't answer. My dad looked half asleep, monitors beeping steady. "Is he okay?" She sighed. "Stress. The doctor says it's his heart." "You really put him through a lot." There it was, the dagger wrapped in pity. I clenched my fists. "Mom, you told people I stole from you. You brought the cops to my door. You humiliated me online." Her expression didn't flicker. "Sweetheart, I only told the truth. You embarrassed the family. You turned your back on us. What did you expect?" I laughed, a dry, broken sound. "The truth. You skipped my celebration. Then you tried to make me pay for yours. That's not truth, Mom. That's manipulation." Dad stirred, opening one eye. "Rachel?" His voice was thin, fragile. "You shouldn't have sent that message." I swallowed hard. "Dad, you think I hurt you?" He looked away. "Your mother said you were angry. I can't handle this kind of stress right now." And that was the moment it hit me. They didn't just twist the story, they rewrote me inside his mind. Mom reached over, gently patting my hand like I was a stranger. "We all make mistakes," she said, her tone syrupy and poisonous. "But you can fix this. If you apologize publicly, I'll take the post down. I'll tell everyone it was a misunderstanding." "Apologize? To the woman who called the cops on me?" I stood up so fast the chair scraped against the floor. "You don't want peace, Mom. You want control." She looked up at me, her face softening just enough to hide the venom underneath. "Rachel, family is all you have. Don't destroy yours over pride." But pride wasn't what burned in my chest. It was clarity. I looked at my father one last time, fragile, silent, unreachable, then turned to her. "You already destroyed it," I said. Then I walked out, leaving her words echoing down the hallway. But as I reached the parking lot, my phone buzzed. A notification. A new post. Linda Meyer updated her status. "My daughter just screamed at me in a hospital. Please keep my husband in your prayers." Thousands of reactions. Dozens of shares. She wasn't apologizing. She was performing. And I realized something right then. If she wanted an audience, I'd give her one. But it wouldn't be sympathy she'd get this time. It would be truth, raw, unfiltered, and public. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the dark, phone screen glowing in the corner of my apartment, scrolling through my mother's lies like they were scripture written by a stranger. She had always been good with words, the soft, emotional kind that made people pity her. And now she was using them as weapons. But she forgot who taught me how to write. At 2:13 a.m., I opened Facebook again, reactivated my account for the first time since I deleted it. My notifications exploded, but I ignored them. I opened Create Post. And I started typing. "My name is Rachel Meyer. Some of you might have seen what my mother, Linda Meyer, has been saying about me. She's right about one thing, I did send her a single penny on Venmo. What she didn't tell you is why. A week before that, I invited my entire family to celebrate my dream job, a moment I worked 10 years for. No one came. No calls, no excuses, nothing. Then, a week later, my mom requested $3,400 from me to pay for my dad's retirement party. I sent 1 cent. And a message that said, "Here's my contribution. Hope it buys some self-awareness." The next day, the police were at my door. I've stayed quiet while she painted me as unstable, selfish, ungrateful, but silence is complicity. I am done protecting people who destroy others behind closed doors. I attached screenshots, the Venmo request, the police report, even her hospital post. Then I hit post. I didn't expect what happened next. By morning, it had 12,000 shares. By noon, influencers were stitching it on TikTok, narrating my words over dramatic piano music. People started commenting things like, "This is emotional abuse. Gaslighting at its finest. Rachel, you're not alone." For the first time in my life, I wasn't the one being pitted. I was being heard. Mom called non-stop, blocked. Then my brother texted, "You're ruining us. Take it down." I typed back, "I didn't ruin anything. I revealed it." The post didn't just go viral. It flipped the narrative. By nightfall, people were digging up Mom's older posts, the contradictions, the performative charity drives, the GoFundMe she'd started for Dad's medical bills 3 months before he ever got sick. And that's when the messages started coming in from strangers. "Hey, I donated to that fund. Is it real? Do you know where that money went?" I didn't, yet. But something told me. I was about to. Because 2 days later, I got a call from someone who used to work with my mom. A woman whose voice shook as she said, "Rachel, I think you need to know what your mother's been doing with that money." Her name was Claire. She used to work at the same real estate office as my mom. Her voice trembled through the phone like she was confessing a crime she didn't commit. "Rachel, I don't know how much you know, but your mom's been running donations through fake causes for years. She uses your dad's name, medical emergencies, retirement struggles, even a home repair fund. None of it ever reaches him. Or anyone else." My grip on the phone tightened. "You're saying she's been scamming people?" Claire hesitated. "Not just people. Her co-workers, her friends. Even clients. She's good at making herself look like a hero. That's how she keeps everyone on her side." My mouth went dry. "Why are you telling me this?" She sighed. "Because she's trying to make you her next cover story. I saw her at the office last week saying, 'Rachel's meltdown has been hard on me, I might need to take some time off.' She's already setting up sympathy for herself." Again. I hung up before I could cry. Not out of sadness, but because I could finally see it. The full pattern. Every tear, every lie, every carefully staged moment, it wasn't chaos. It was control. That night, I opened my laptop and started digging. Old GoFundMe links. Facebook posts. Venmo histories. Even her church donation drives. Piece by piece, I built a puzzle of deceit, every transaction, every fake appeal. And then I saw it, a transfer labeled deposit, R.Meyer account. But it wasn't mine. It was my dad's. She'd been moving money through his retirement account. The same account she accused me of stealing from. For hours, I sat there shaking, scrolling through transactions that spelled out years of betrayal. $200 here, $500 there, all justified by some story of family emergencies. By morning, I had over 50 screenshots. But more than evidence, I had clarity. She'd built her image on the ruins of my life, and everyone believed her. Now, I was going to make them believe me. I made a folder called The Meyer Files. I organized every screenshot, every link, every police report. Then I drafted an email to Local News Channel 7, Investigations Desk. Subject: Ongoing fraud under the guise of family charity, proof attached. I attached everything. No explanation. Just the line: the truth will set a lot of people free. Including me. Before I hit send, I hesitated. Because part of me, the little girl still chasing her parents' approval, wanted to stop. Wanted to believe this was fixable. Then my phone buzzed. A new Facebook post from my mom. To everyone praying for our family, thank you. Rachel's unstable behavior continues, but we love her through it. That was it. The final nail. I hit send. And with one click, I set the story free. But freedom, I learned, doesn't come quietly. It comes with a storm. Because the next day, reporters were at her office. And for the first time in her life, Linda Meyer couldn't spin the narrative. The story broke on a Thursday morning. I woke up to my phone vibrating non-stop, texts, missed calls, emails from people I hadn't spoken to in years. Channel 7's headline filled the screen. Local woman under investigation for charity fraud, over $60,000 in misused donations. Linda Meyer, a longtime community volunteer, allegedly diverted charitable funds to personal accounts, citing fabricated family emergencies. Her smiling headshot sat beneath the headline, the same photo she used for her Volunteer of the Year post last Christmas. Only now, it looked hollow. My coffee went cold as I scrolled through the article. They'd published everything: screenshots, timestamps, account statements. Even quotes from donors who felt betrayed. And then, the sentence that stopped me cold. Sources claim Meyer's daughter, Rachel, exposed the operation after being falsely accused of theft. For once, the world was seeing what I'd been screaming into silence for years. I didn't post anything. Didn't celebrate. I just sat in the quiet and watched the lie unravel. By noon, her social media accounts were gone. By evening, my brother called, first time since the hospital. Rachel, he said, his voice low, broken. She's lost everything. Her job. Her reputation. Dad won't even speak to her. I closed my eyes. Did you know? He didn't answer. The silence was an answer. She said she did it for us, he whispered finally. Said she just wanted to keep up appearances. That she couldn't let the world see our family fall apart. I laughed bitterly. She built a kingdom of lies and called it family. He sniffed, voice trembling. She's asking if you'll come see her. She's at the house. Says she wants to apologize. Every part of me screamed no. But something deep down, that old need for closure, made me say, I'll think about it. That night, I drove back to the home I hadn't seen in years. The porch light flickered, the same one I helped Dad install when I was 12. She opened the door before I could knock. No makeup. No performance. Just, human. Her face looked older, fragile, like the lies had finally started eating her from the inside. Rachel, she said softly, I never meant for it to go this far. I stepped inside, the air heavy with dust and regret. You meant every part of it, Mom. You just didn't expect to lose. Tears welled in her eyes. I was trying to hold our family together. By breaking me apart. Her lip trembled. She didn't answer. We stood there, years of love, hate, and silence between us, until finally she whispered. I don't know how to fix this. I took a long breath. You can't. Then I turned to leave. As I stepped off that porch, I realized I didn't feel revenge. I felt release. Like her collapse had finally unshackled me from the version of myself she'd built. But the story wasn't over. Because the next morning, I got a letter, official, sealed, with a government crest on the envelope. It was from the district attorney's office. And inside was a subpoena. Mom wasn't the only one under investigation. They wanted me to testify. The courthouse smelled like paper, coffee, and nerves. Rows of faces blurred into a quiet hum as I walked in, reporters, donors, old neighbors, people who'd once called my mother an inspiration. Now they were here to watch her fall. Linda Meyer sat at the defendant's table, her hands folded neatly in her lap, pearls around her neck like armor. She didn't look at me. Not once. When the clerk called my name, I stood. For a moment, the world tilted, the years of gaslighting, shame, and silence rushing through me. Then I found my breath. The prosecutor started simple. Ms. Meyer, can you confirm your mother's relationship to these fundraising accounts? Yes, I said. My voice didn't shake. She managed them. She told people my father was sick, that we were struggling. None of it was true. He nodded. And how do you know this? Because I checked the transfers myself. The money went into her personal account, not my father's. Not any charity. He clicked a slide on the projector. Screenshots filled the room, Venmo logs, donation receipts, the same files I'd sent to Channel 7. The room buzzed. Then it was the defense's turn. Mom's lawyer, smooth, polite, every word polished to sound reasonable. Rachel, he began, you've had disagreements with your mother, haven't you? I smiled faintly. That's one way to describe emotional warfare. He frowned. Would it be fair to say this public exposure may have been revenge? I met his eyes. No. Revenge is about destruction. This was about survival. He hesitated. The judge glanced at me. Continue, Ms. Meyer. I looked across the courtroom, at her. My mother. Her eyes finally met mine, glassy, wide, unrecognizing. For years, I said quietly, my mom taught me that love was something you had to earn. That silence was loyalty. That protecting her lies was family. But truth isn't betrayal. It's freedom. And I refuse to live in her story anymore. A hush swept over the room. Even the judge paused before speaking. Thank you, Ms. Meyer. You may step down. When I passed her table, she whispered, so faintly I almost missed it. Rachel. I'm sorry. I stopped. Looked down at her. I believe you, I said softly. But I still have to tell the truth. And I walked out. That evening, I sat on my balcony, the same one I'd stood on months ago when I sent that one penny. Only this time, I didn't feel anger. I felt peace. The sunset washed the city gold. Somewhere in the distance, a train horn echoed, slow, steady, like closure humming through the air. The news later said she pled guilty to wire fraud and restitution. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post. I just took a deep breath, opened my journal, and wrote 3 words. I'm finally free.